Hi, everybody. Meteorologist Amy Sweezy here. We are talking about what's going on in the tropics. There's an area of low pressure that we've been monitoring for the last several days, had a very low chance of developing, and now looks like it has a better chance of developing. And originally, about a week ago, it looked like it was going to have a bigger impact on Florida. Now, looks like it's coming together and actually going to head to the west and away from the west side of Florida and move over along the Gulf Coast. So, wanted to just give you a brief little update here on what's going on. First of all, I am going to share my screen so that I can, let me see. I'm going to share my entire screen, which means you'll see all my tabs and everything, but that's okay. Um, okay, my weather front. That's what we want to do. And I'm going to, okay. So this is the disturbance that we're talking about, this area of low pressure, kind of where the X is that you see on the screen here. And this now has an 80% chance of developing. Notice the area of low pressure is actually pretty far away from the coast in Tampa. We are getting information from the Hurricane Center. That red circle, by the way, is drawn on a different map, but that is coming straight from the National Hurricane Center and their 7-day tropical weather outlook. So they're giving it an 80% chance of developing in 7 days, but also actually an 80% chance of developing in the next 2 days. Notice at the top of the screen there's the 2-day graphical tropical weather outlook. So it is something that will likely develop, if not today, then as we get into tomorrow on Monday. Let me show you the radar. And this is going to show us what is actually going on as far as the rain goes. I will loop this for you. And notice, because the center of the storm is so far off the coast, what we're seeing in Florida is just the outer edges, those outer rain bands that are coming north. So as I zoom in closer, you can see they've already had some rain, some thunderstorms early this morning in Punta Gorda and Cape Coral, down toward Fort Myers, Bonita Springs, and Naples. Marco Island, you can see we actually have a special weather statement for the storms that are going on in Marco Island right now. Looks like even funnel clouds are possible there near the coast with wind gusts at 45 to 50 miles per hour. Let me turn that off, and then I'll zoom up a little bit closer to us here in Central Florida. So notice we don't have any rain at this point in Central Florida because that low is so far off the coast. But let me show you. I'm going to switch over to the computer model here, and we'll zoom out so we can kind of see the whole state. There you go. This is actually the HER. And let me bring it back to our time. Notice at the top of the screen here, 8 a.m. That is the, oops, that's the wrong button right there. 8 a.m. That's up in the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Well, it's 9:30 right now. So let's scooch this forward in time. So here's 10 o'clock. Because this model, the reason it has passed on it is because this was a computer model that was run early this morning. So that's why, now we bring it up forward in time so that you can see what's happening as we head through the day. So keep your eye on the clock there at 10 a.m. And as we move forward in time, there's 11. Notice the low just kind of stays off the coast. And then there goes those rain bands wrapping around this center of circulation. And those are those outer rain bands that are going to be rolling through Central Florida. So this is 9 o'clock tonight. Let me take it back in time and notice that band there rolling through, getting into southern Lake County, the Claremont area, along between Polk and Osceola, rolling up into downtown Orlando. That's at about 5 o'clock this evening. And then continuing from there, the line moves over along the East Coast. That'll be about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock tonight, Flagler, Volusia, and then over into Brevard County. From there, I'll continue this into Monday morning. Notice that low really hasn't moved a whole lot. Many of the forecast models have it very slowly making this trek away from Florida and then eventually pulling up along the Gulf Coast and moving up into, say, Louisiana, Mississippi. Still a little bit of uncertainty since the low hasn't completely gotten organized yet. We do not have a name yet for the storm, but the next name on our list is Bertha. This is now, back to the radar, because I want to show you that we're talking about. Okay, let's see. We're going to know our location. Okay, so yeah, so that's where we are in Central Florida in Orlando. And then I do want to go over to the National Weather Service alerts, because this will kind of let us know what's going on up in the Panhandle. Let me turn that off here for a second. There we go. can move this up. So this is the special weather statement that I showed you earlier. And then these blue things up here, these are special marine warnings that have been posted for the panhandle. So basically it's just for boaters right now because you can see the rain actually isn't even near the coast there. And in fact, let me switch this over to Tampa's radar since that'll give us a little bit better view of these storms. So for now, we're quiet today here in Central Florida. We are dealing with heat and humidity, but some of this rain here, I want to show you some of these total accumulations. These are pretty impressive from the storm, but notice it's just along the Gulf Coast at this point. It's not anything that we are dealing with here in Central Florida. Let me see here. Let's see if I can. I know I can't get the satellite to show up on this yet, but here we go. This is what I want to show you. This is actually the temperatures, but it does show the location of the low and shows how, where it is. And then as I put this forward in time, it'll kind of show you where that low is developing. So it really develops and then hangs out. Look at that, for several hours just right off the coast of Tampa. So some of the same places that are getting the rain now are going to continue getting the rain. And that's going to be something that we'll be keeping an eye on. Let me go back to the reflectivity so you can see the rain. Yeah, this is something that we'll be keeping an eye on all day long here in Central Florida. So these rain bands will just keep wrapping around. Nothing major. It was looking like we were going to have a lot more potential as far as the flooding rains go. In fact, when we go back over here, I do want to show you the excessive rainfall outlook. This is, let's get rid of that. That's the special marine warning that we have. This is the excessive rainfall outlook. So notice the 5-6 inches of rain is likely just right along the Gulf Coast and not so much in Central Florida. But we will still get some rain here in Central Florida, but it'll be more like our typical storms. Just the timing will be a little off. Normally in the winter or in the summer, we get storms between, say, 3 and 8. But I do think some of the rain will stick around later, even after sunset tonight. And that's because the rain is wrapping around this area of low pressure and it's not actually coming from the afternoon heat of the day and the sea breeze collision. So it's a little bit of a different setup for us, but you probably won't notice it a whole lot. We're not going to have any major implications here other than some bands of rain rolling through. And of course, we still need the rain since it has been so very dry